Hey there, it's Jenna from the Intern Hustle. And if you caught my last video on what not to do on LinkedIn, then you know that one of my biggest pet peeves is when students send connection invites, but don't take the time to include a brief personal message with it. So as a follow-up, I thought it would be helpful to share some best practices to follow when requesting new connections and growing your network on LinkedIn. Plus, I'll be sharing some of the best personal messages that I've received from students who've reached out to connect with me. Hit that like button if you're ready to step your game up on LinkedIn, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell to be notified for new videos every single week on this channel. Hey there, I'm Jenna Ryan from the INTERNHustle.com, and this is Initiative Muscle Monday, helping you to start each week with an intentional step toward a successful future. Let's do this. To start, let's just talk about how you add a personal message to a LinkedIn invite in order to connect with someone. When you're on your computer, and I do say computer because this option doesn't automatically pop up for you on mobile, so watch out for that. But if you're on a computer and you hit the connect button on someone's profile, a little box will pop up telling you that your invitation is almost on its way. This is where you're given the option to add a note. All you have to do is hit the button, add a note, and then you're given the opportunity to do so. It's that simple. Now, you don't have to write an essay. Just a short, concise message that gives the person context for why you want to connect will do the trick. LinkedIn gives you 300 characters to work with. So just keep this personal message short and friendly and add the necessary context and you'll be good to go. So if it's that easy to do, let's talk about why a lot of students, or really just people in general, just hit the connect button on LinkedIn and skip the personal message. Why do they fail to complete this important step? Well, because in today's social media environment, that's just how it works most of the time. On other platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, you just hit follow if you want to follow someone. There's no message involved. Now, LinkedIn does have a follow feature as well, and I'll touch on that briefly at the end of this video. But when you're looking to connect with someone on LinkedIn and add them to your professional network, when you send an invitation, you should be including a personal message. If you don't send a personal message, this is how it appears to the person on the other end. It's LinkedIn's standard message of, "Hi Jenna, I'd like to join your LinkedIn network." That's like sending someone you don't really know an email and just writing, "Hi Jenna, I'd like to send you an email." Well, yeah, but why are you reaching out to me? And on LinkedIn, why are you interested in connecting with me? Are you starting to see why this is important? Now, of course, if you already know the person, there is no need to send a personal message. But if you don't know them and you're hoping to make a connection with them and maybe have an informational interview with them, here are some examples of how you can tailor a LinkedIn invitation message. Sending messages like these will increase your chances of people accepting your invitation and actually connecting with you. These are real examples from students who have reached out to connect with me. Now, I'm going to cover up their name and their picture and some details for privacy reasons, but I want to give you a handful of visual examples for some students who've done a great job at adding personal messages to their LinkedIn invitations. First up, "Hi Jenna, my name is," and I'm a third-year undergraduate at Cornell. I've been subscribed to your channel for years and I really appreciate your content. I'd love to connect. This student did a great job of briefly introducing themselves, and then they went on to show appreciation for my work. Compliments go a long way. They kept the message short and sweet, but it was a no-brainer for me to click accept and add them to my LinkedIn network. Okay, next up. "Hello Jenna, I love your videos on YouTube that really help me prepare for career fairs, interviews, and much more. I would love to connect with you." This is another example of a student letting me know how they found me through my YouTube videos, and specifically what videos have had a positive impact on them. Short and sweet, easy for me to hit accept. Notice that both of these first examples also address me by name, which requires no big effort, but it makes it feel that much more personal. Timely connection requests are also great. This next example is one that I received right after teaching my last LinkedIn Masterclass session. "Thank you so much for this amazing session." Now, this is a great message. Positive, they're thanking me for something. But one thing that this student could have done better is saying what training. What training specifically did they enjoy attending? Now, I happen to recognize the student and know which training they were referring to in this case because they were very active during the training and they asked some great questions. But always remember to be as specific as you can. Saying, "I just attended your LinkedIn Masterclass on Thursday night. Thank you so much for the amazing session," is a subtle but helpful improvement to this message. Regardless, this was also an easy one for me to accept. On the topic of my LinkedIn Masterclass, I invite you to sign up and join me on the next one. They are free and I go over the 8 reasons why you should be using LinkedIn as a student. I give you ideas and strategies to implement in order to improve how you show up on LinkedIn and increase the value that you get out of the platform so that you can grow your network and uncover opportunities. You can sign up to reserve your spot at theinternhustle.com/LinkedIn. If you don't see an available date and time at this time, then be sure to add your name to the waitlist and you'll be the first to find out about future opportunities to attend. Again, theinternhustle.com/LinkedIn. Check the description below this video for more information. But now let's go back to some more great personal message examples that I've received from students. Hi Jenna, I just wanted to take your advice and reach out to connect. I will be attending your LinkedIn Masterclass next week and I'm really looking forward to learning from you. P.S. I see you are an Ohio State grad, but I think I will be able to get past that. Go Blue. So this student is one of my more recent LinkedIn connections, and you can see that they mentioned that they were taking my advice. So this tells me that they watched my last video on LinkedIn mistakes to avoid, one of those mistakes being don't invite someone to connect without sending a personal message. So in addition to showing me that they're paying attention and taking my advice, they went on to let me know that they'll also be attending my next LinkedIn Masterclass, which is awesome. And my favorite part is the personal touch at the end. This student took the time to learn a little bit about me and that I'm a graduate of Ohio State, and given that their school, Michigan, is our biggest rival at Ohio State, they made sure to bring it up. And in the spirit of our school rivalry, I don't really like to give Michigan people much credit, but this personal message was very well done and another easy one for me to accept. Go Bucks. I also love this next example from a student who is a member in my Leveraging LinkedIn course. Hi Jenna, I'm gaining so much great information from leveraging LinkedIn and the Intern Hustle. Thanks for connecting. So you see that they quickly connected the dots for me by pointing out that they're learning a lot from my course. And I encourage all of the students in my course to connect with me, but this student didn't just assume that I would put it all together and realize that they were enrolled in my program. They made it clear and easy for me to recognize. It's as simple as that, and it's a straightforward invite for me to accept. This next one is a great example of how you can engage with someone's content on LinkedIn or other platforms, in this case Twitter, to show that you're interested and not just in it for a quick connection. Hey Jenna, I gave you a quick tweet shout out on your Twitter page not too long ago about how I found your content helpful in my job search. Even internships at the moment, as I am considering them even though I just graduated. I'd love to connect and share some of my success stories as a student. This student is someone who is consistently engaging with my content on LinkedIn as well. And I really appreciate that. You know, I work hard to put out resources for students, so it's always nice when someone leaves a thoughtful comment and actually engages with my work. It lets me know that people are paying attention and they're getting value out of it. So keep this strategy in mind if there's a professional whom you admire. Consistently engage with their content first. That way, when your name pops up in their LinkedIn invites, they will be quick to notice you and accept the connection. And one last example to share with you, and what I love about this one is that they shared something specific. Hello Jenna, I watched your video about how to get internships in sports and found it very helpful. I am going to do a gap year after my bachelor's studies to broaden my experience with internships in different sectors, sports being one of them. I would really appreciate connecting here with you. So people like to know why you want to connect. This message made it very clear to me. I have a background in sports and I share about my sports internships frequently, and this person wants to learn more from me in that specific area. Another very easy connection for me to say yes to. Now, I recognize that a lot of these examples show students reaching out to me after they watch my YouTube videos. And I also realize that that's not always going to be every scenario you find yourself in when you're trying to connect with someone. So what can you say to someone if you're not looking to connect with them just because you love their YouTube content? Here are some great strategies that you can follow. Do these things to stand out and find success in adding more people to your network. First, bring up shared interests. What can you learn from someone's LinkedIn profile or an article that you've read about them, and what do you have in common? Or in the example I gave with the Michigan student, it isn't a shared interest that I have with them, but it is a shared rivalry. Also effective, especially in the world of college football. Another thing you can do is mention mutual connections. So have they worked with someone who you know, or were they recommended to you by a family friend? You can also compliment someone on something specific. We saw this in a lot of the examples that I shared with you. What impact have they had on you? What value have you gotten from their work? The student who mentioned the sports video was specific about that being helpful. The student in my LinkedIn course mentioned how much they're learning from that. They're both complimenting something specific. You can also make your invites timely and relevant. This is a super easy way to add connections. So if you just met them at a school event, follow up right away with a LinkedIn invitation mentioning where you met and that you'd like to stay in touch. And the final strategy is to add value. Find creative ways to be of value to someone and they will love you for it. Little things too. The student who let me know that he's engaging with me on Twitter added value by helping me strengthen my message and just spread more overall awareness for the Intern Hustle brand. Bottom line, just make sure that you're making your connection invites personal. People ignore tons of connection requests. Oh really? You found my profile interesting? You can say that to anyone. Get specific. What did you find interesting and why? Full transparency, have I still connected with students who didn't send me a personal message? Yes. Sometimes it just depends on how I'm feeling that day. But when it comes to connecting with professionals on LinkedIn, my point in creating this video is to get you in the practice of always sending a personal message to increase your chances of adding a new connection and potentially building a valuable professional relationship. And if you want to connect with someone just so that you can stay on top of what they're doing and follow their content, but you don't really need to connect with them, if you recall at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that LinkedIn does have a follow feature. So I recommend that if you don't have a message to send someone and you're not going to take the time to send a personal message, then just hit follow on their profile, and that way you can stay on top of what they're doing, and maybe down the line, after you've engaged with their content for a while and added some value to the content that they're putting out there by adding comments and sharing thoughts and opinions, then maybe it makes sense for you to connect and send a personal message that adds a little bit more value to them and gives them some context for why you're connecting. The next video to watch to improve your presence on LinkedIn is this one, and I'll link it for you on the next screen. Go give it a watch, and don't forget to grab your spot in my next LinkedIn masterclass for students by registering or adding yourself to the waitlist at theinternhustle.com/LinkedIn. Thanks for watching. If this video gave you some new insights today, please give it a like and share it with a friend or two. Hit that red subscribe button and bell below so that you don't miss out on future videos. In support of your hustle, I'm Jenna from theinternhustle.com, and I'll see you.